Yes, look, I'm in real time.
Look at you. You look good too. Well, say something now. You should.
Well, thank you for coming back to us. Hopefully, Stephanie, we know you're here. You're the only one watching, and we appreciate it. So, we're going to talk to you tonight. It's about you. Who are we?
I want you to say it.
No, you're the
You
history fit because
always.
I said it the last time, so I want you to be able to have your
This
free
mainly
will.
you. Okay, we're the Blithering Roses. There you go.
Okay,
I can't keep doing some major thing every single time we talk about it. It's the Blithering Roses. At this point, they know after 8 different videos that have come out, it's the Blithering Roses. We're gonna have to keep doing some spectacular intro every time.
Okay. So tonight our topics are going to be. I figured we're going to jump on this real quick. The top leading actors and actor financially, like what movies, the top grossing actors and actresses.
If I can understand what you're saying, I can probably answer.
The top grossing actresses and actors, top 10 grossing actors and actresses.
Oh Lord, this list is gonna take forever. I'm gonna try to.
It's not. It's gonna be just 10. It's just 10, and they're mixed in between.
Okay, I'm gonna try to speed through this. Okay, we're starting with number 1.
Yes.
Samuel L. Jackson.
Okay.
Is that number 1?
Yes.
Okay. Ooh, I think I'm
with a revenue worldwide total of 14 billion, 627, 843, 117. Okay, but I won't give you the total.
Okay. I think I might be able to get close to these because I'm thinking.
Okay.
Let me get Scarlett Johansson for number 2.
Okay, yeah, you saw my list. Go ahead.
I did not see your list. Don't discredit me. Don't discredit me.
Go ahead.
Because I'm doing good.
Liking it so far. Okay.
We got Samuel L. number 1, Scarlett 2. Let's go Dwayne The Rock Johnson number 3.
No.
Robert Downey Jr. number 3.
Number 3, yes. Robert Downey Jr.
Well, at this point, because as long as you've been in a bunch of at least 4 or 5 of them. Oh, you know what? What's the lady that plays in Avatar and she's also in Marvel? What is her name? You know who I'm talking about. Tell me, what's her name?
Cher.
No.
Zoe Saldana.
Okay, she's got to be 4.
Yeah, she's 4.
4? Okay.
Number 5. And I'm really surprised.
Chris Evans?
No.
The Rock?
No, he's not in the top 10 list at all.
How's The Rock not in the top 10?
At all.
Number 5? Give me a hint.
It's a Chris.
Chris Hemsworth?
No.
Christopher Walken?
You might as well say Christopher Lee from way back in the 50s and 40s.
Christopher Reeves?
No.
It's a Chris?
It's a Chris.
Chris Rock? What other Chris would be popular?
There are 4 Chris's that are very popular.
Did I name any of them yet?
No. I would have said yes.
Chris. Oh, no. There's no way Chris Tucker is up there. Because
Lord,
Chris Tucker doesn't have movies. Was he one of the 4 that were real popular? I hope he was.
No.
Chris Farley. That's another Chris. See, I'm naming Chris's. You're not giving me
top grossing people of all
Christian Bale.
I'm actually very surprised that this particular Chris is on the list. I have to say that.
Okay, how old is this? How old is this particular Chris?
He's your age, I would think. Maybe he's in modern times right now. He's very popular right now.
Give me a movie. Wait, no. Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt.
Is he number what?
Yeah.
Was it
what number 5? Number 5.
He's not my age. How old is he?
I don't know. He's not my age, so I figured he's your age.
Let me see. If I swear we got some problems. If he's keep going. Okay, so number 4 or number 5, right? Chris Evans.
You're well. Number 5 was Chris Pratt. Number 6.
Okay, well, give me the list so far then that we've had.
Samuel Jackson, Scarlett Johansson, Robert Downey Jr., Zoe Saldana.
Is Chris 45 Pratt. Years old, by the way.
Oh, well, same.
Lord. Okay, keep going.
Okay, so next we're number 6.
Number 6, Chris Hemsworth.
No,
Did I do Chris Evans?
no.
I
You did
didn't.
say Chris Evans for Chris Pratt, but no,
Okay, is it Chris Evans?
no.
Give me a hint.
Okay, first of all, we're gonna put 6 like this. Give me the 4 popular Chris that are out since you said Chris.
I get that's all I had. I had Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth, Chris Farley,
Chris Farley hasn't been popular. He wasn't
Chris
even that
Tucker,
popular when he was popular.
Chris
No,
Tucker. Chris Tucker's
no.
popular.
Now or was, yeah, but
Okay, you
okay.
give me them then.
Chris Pratt, Chris Evans, Chris Pine,
I don't
and
know who
Chris
that is.
Hemsworth, the
Who's
guy
Chris
from Star
Pine?
Trek.
Oh, okay, he's not that popular. I didn't even know who he was. Keep going.
If you know, everybody says the 4 fours. Okay, so now we're back to number 6.
Give me a hint.
Um, he used to be. You used to always argue about him and The Rock
Argue
about who was more popular.
Tom Cruise?
Tom Cruise,
I don't remember arguing that, but
number 6.
number 6 is Tom Cruise. Yeah, he's got all those Mission Impossible movies. Okay.
But number 7, I'm completely blown away by it. I'm completely shocked by this.
Okay, give me a hint.
He has a twin brother.
Vin Diesel?
Vin Diesel.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I didn't know Vin Diesel had a twin brother. I just was thinking he's got all them fast and furious movies or whatever. Have you even seen those?
No, I have not seen one of them. But you would think, why not the other people that are in the Vin Diesel movies? Aren't they those other people in the movie too?
Yeah, but he's got like riddance or something. Push him over the top.
The Rock,
and like
though, you would
State
think
of
The
the
Rock
X or X. What is it? What was that movie that The Rock? I heard The Rock was the highest grossing. I don't know where.
Well,
I knew
okay,
Samuel. Okay. Well, anyway,
number 7 was Vin Diesel. Number 8.
I'm doing good. Even with hints, I'm still.
You done well.
The one I got stuck on was Chris Pratt, but
Right.
Number 8, I'm gonna say let's go Harrison Ford. He's got a bunch of, and if he's not on this list, then there's gonna be a problem because he's got Indiana Jones, he's got Star Wars, he's got a lot. So,
Right.
but I'm guessing he's not because you haven't said yes. So
No, he's not.
give me a hint.
You've said him.
I've said a lot. Chris Evans.
No.
Is Chris Evans actually on the list?
Yes, Chris Evans is on the list.
Did I mention it? Like, was he already like a higher number?
No.
Okay. I've said his name already.
Yes.
When?
When we were discussing number 5.
I don't know. Give me a hint.
I just gave you 3
That's
hints.
not enough hints. I've threw a lot of names out.
He's in one of your favorite movies.
Your hints are terrible, by the way. I don't even know what my favorite movie is, so I don't know how you would.
He's in the second top grossing movie. Is that enough of a hint for you?
So he's in Marvel.
Right.
Chris Hemsworth?
Yes.
Oh. Just say another Chris.
What was number 5? The whole conversation about.
Okay, number 10, Harrison Ford.
Number 9.
We have to. That was number 9.
No, that was number 8.
Okay, give me a hint on number 9.
You'll never get it. And I couldn't even give you a hint.
Would I have heard this person's name before?
Yes, you've seen there. He had a movie that had 3 parts to it. Not 3 parts, but 3 sequels or 2 sequels to it.
Is it 3 or 2?
There were 2 sequels to it, and it was the biggest comedy of all time, supposedly.
Hangover.
Right.
So Jake, or what's the Zach Galifianakis? I don't know his name.
No.
Okay, what's the other guy's name? I don't know their names.
He was nominated for an Oscar recently.
I just don't know his name.
He's blonde. He's tall.
I don't know his. I'm telling you, I don't know his name.
Bradley Cooper.
Oh, I know his name. Why don't you just say Rocket? You could have said that.
Rocket.
Yeah, he's the one that does Rocket's voice in Guardians of the
Oh,
Galaxy.
I didn't remember that.
You could have said Marvel. You said biggest comedies. Just say Marvel and say he did Rocket's voice.
I didn't remember. Number 10.
Harrison Ford.
No.
You said Harrison Ford was on the list. So if it's not
No,
number,
I did not.
I said Harrison Ford should be on the list. And rewind it. You said it.
I did not say he was on the list.
Okay, then who? Give me a hint.
I said he should be on the list. Yes.
Okay, give me a hint.
He's in all of these other movies
Mark
with all
Ruffalo?
the other people that are on the list.
Mark?
No.
I don't know. Who?
Chris Evans. You asked me if it was Chris Evans on the list.
Dang it, I'm so tired of you. I'm so tired of you. I've been asking about that. Hey, Shanika, we see you. She was just saying hi in the in Facebook.
How come I can't see?
I don't know. I'm barely able to see myself. So, okay, all right. That was actually pretty good. I think I did decent on that one. Some of the other lists I didn't do.
Good.
I didn't do.
I knew
too
you
hot
knew Samuel Jackson because we see Samuel Jackson all the time.
But I did decent on that one.
I was trying to do top grossing women, but I couldn't get that pulled up. So
top grossing what?
Top grossing women.
You know there are men in certain.
I know, but I knew you knew the men more so. That's why I was trying to do something harder.
Okay, so I got one for you.
I know. Go ahead.
Okay, let me explain it real fast, just so everybody kind of knows how it works. You're going to describe whatever it is blindly, okay? In this game, you'll be given 5 different items or choices, one at a time, and you have to rank each of them without knowing what will be the next one. Once you place that item in a rank, like 1, 2, 3, etc., you can't move it. So the goal is to see if you can rank them best to worst, but it's tricky because you don't know what's coming next. You kind of understand that?
Yes.
Okay. So with that in mind,
I couldn't do you on that because I didn't write it down. You've got pre-planned things.
Yes, I pre-planned just like you pre-planned that list. So let's do this.
I didn't pre-plan. I just looked it up a few minutes ago.
You looked it up. So all right, rank these superheroes blindly, 1 through 5. First one, Captain America.
What are we ranking them on?
Just how you like them. Don't make it complex. Just how you like them.
Oh no, I thought you were talking about. I didn't know because if you had a complicated list like strength and all that.
It's how you like them.
Number 2.
Number 2.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Green Arrow.
5.
Green Arrow's number 5?
Yeah.
Dang. Okay. Gambit.
Four.
Gambit's 4?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let's just see what you have so far. Number 2, you put Captain America.
Uh-huh.
Number 4, you put Gambit. And number 5, you put
Green Arrow.
Green Arrow. Okay. Storm.
Storm would be number 3.
Number 3. So we have Captain America number 2, Storm number 3, Gambit 4.
4, yeah.
And Green Arrow 5. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so I know who you're gonna put now. Which is not. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Who?
Go ahead.
Bishop was the last option.
Oh, yeah, right.
The Bishop was. I have Bishop right here. I have them all 5.
You know, that's not bad because Bishop, I like Captain America more, but I'll put Bishop number 1. I like Bishop.
You got Bishop, Storm, Captain America.
No, Bishop, Captain America, Storm.
Oh, I'm sorry. Bishop, Captain America, Storm. You like, but you don't like Storm. See, the thing is, you thought I was going to say Wonder Woman. So you were trying to play the game by putting like, oh, if I put Storm number one, and he says Wonder Woman, that's gonna.
But I
I knew
like
it.
Captain America better than Storm.
Yeah,
Captain America and Wonder Woman are my favorite, but I do
you
like
like
Bishop. Bishop,
Captain America better than Storm. That
yeah.
is a false statement if I've ever heard one. You talk
No,
more about Storm than Captain America any and all day.
you just accused me the other day when we were looking at the books. Oh, how come Captain America's there? Captain America's there. I tell
Your
you all the time, Captain.
username for things is Storm.
Shh, that's
It's
my password.
oh shoot, I
Isn't that
almost
out?
passed out laughing. Don't tell people that. You're gonna have people logging into your account. Do not log into this man's account. You will not like what you see. Or
And if
maybe
you
you
log
will,
in, let
but
me know what the password is because I don't know any of my passwords. I've changed them way too many times, so I don't know any of them.
oh man. Okay, that's good. You
Captain
have
America is my favorite, probably my favorite Marvel
no
person
Captain
for
America
sure.
is your favorite male Marvel character. Storm
He's my favorite.
is
No,
your favorite.
Captain
No,
America is my
no,
no.
no. You know what?
Captain
If
America is
anybody's listening to
Wonder
this
Woman,
that
Captain
knows you, they
America,
know.
Storm. That's how it would be. It would be Wonder Woman, Captain America, Storm, then probably Bishop right there. But then I like the other ones and stuff. But it's always been that Wonder Woman and Captain America probably are. If I could put them number one on each a tie, they are my favorite.
You
And then
do
Storm
not
would be
like
second.
Captain America the same like you like Wonder Woman. Have you lost your mind?
Do you want to go through all my books? What do you see, Captain America?
Have you
What's
lost
my
your
favorite Marvel
ever
movie?
loving mind?
What's my favorite Marvel movie?
Winter Soldier?
So why would that be my favorite movie if it's not Captain America?
They haven't made a Storm movie yet.
Oh, then she would probably make
If they made a single solo Storm movie, that would be your favorite Marvel movie as long as it was good.
what scene in Infinity War did I get the most excited about?
Storm wasn't in it.
But what scene did I
Okay,
get the most
when
excited
Captain America gets Mjolnir,
about?
and
No,
it's like,
that's in Endgame, Infinity
oh,
War, Infinity Gauntlet, whatever that movie,
yes,
Infinity
Infinity
War.
War.
Yeah,
Oh, the
what
train scene, whatever.
right when Captain
Yeah, I'm
catches
not
that
saying
thing.
that you don't. That's not
Captain America,
that.
Captain America, and Wonder Woman are my two favorite people. Storm would be number three, and most likely, I would say probably Bishop number four, other than the Phoenix, and she's. But I love Bishop, and so it's funny you put him in there.
Okay. All right. Well, what do you got next?
I don't have anything. I'm fresh out.
Because I got another one for you.
Okay,
Okay. So we're gonna do another one, but this one's gonna be for states that you like to visit.
states.
States in the United States that you like to visit. So if I say Arkansas, if you really like Arkansas and you enjoy being out there and you think it's a cool place to stay and hang out, that'll be number one. Just your favorite states. You're ranking them. Does that make sense or no?
Wait. Okay, so I want to do you, but I don't have anybody. How come I need to have? Okay, go ahead. Fine.
Okay. California.
Um, two-ish.
Number two.
Because I live here, so it's kind of like if I go places, I always like coming back to California. Yeah, yeah, I'll go
Okay.
two.
Alaska.
Four.
Number four. Okay. New Mexico.
Oh gosh, I have my godchildren in New Mexico. I hope they're not listening. Oh,
They're
y'all
not.
don't pay attention to
I don't
this.
think anybody's listening. So
I would go number five.
New Mexico 5. Okay. New York. But when you talk about New York, I want you to do a New York accent the whole time.
I'm walking here. New York, I go with number one. I like New
Wait,
York.
why would you be walking? What are you talking about? What
You
would you be
walk
walking?
New York.
You're
You're in New
talking.
York, you walk.
Yeah, but you
You
was
walk or you on
talking.
the
So why would
subway.
you say? Why are you talking? Why are you using regular words? That that didn't sound good at all. Anyway, whatever.
Okay.
Was
One.
that your New York accent?
Yeah, that was the best I could.
That was terrible.
I know. That's why I don't ever do it. I have learned that I'm horrible at accents. I tried out for a play one time, and I had to do an English accent. And every time I tried to do it, I burst out laughing, and then I wondered why I didn't get the part. But I'm horrible at accents. I can only do it for just a brief second, and then I lose it. I don't know how people do it.
Okay. Where'd you put it at?
One.
You put New York at number 1?
Yeah.
All right. The last one is Florida. So what does your list look like?
Shoot. Yeah, see, that's tricky because I definitely wouldn't visit Florida, but
So, no. So you
it
have
has to be
California
number
you have
3.
California number 1.
California's number 2. New York's number 1.
Oh, yeah. So New York number 1, California number 2,
Alaska was number 4,
Alaska's 4, New Mexico
and
5, and
5.
Florida was 3. Okay. Woo. All right. So if you don't have anything, I got one last one for us.
Oh,
For it.
right. Okay.
And then you better figure out a good segment after that. If not, the stream is over. Okay. So rank these. Wait, are you doing an advertisement right now?
Well, no, I was just I'm helping my friend out. He's got a podcast too, so we're people,
Casters?
podcasters. Yeah,
Podcasters.
we're
Okay.
podcasters.
Look, like I said, if you ain't got nothing after this, the stream is
Go
done.
for it. Go for it.
So you better
No,
come up
we
with
can.
something. And it better be fire too. We're not just gonna be sitting here looking at each other. I've been talking to you for too long tonight.
Okay,
We've
already
recorded
done 2.
multiple episodes before this, so I'm tired of listening to them. I'm tired of looking at them.
Me too.
Okay. Excuse me?
It goes both ways. You don't think you can be the only one be tired of people and take it off? I don't care. You're
No,
annoying.
I actually had to take
Pet
it out
peeve.
because I had to take it out because it was hurting my ear a little bit. Okay. I need you to rank these Marvel movies blindly. 1 through 5.
I don't like doing it
without
blindly. That's because
knowing
it's not.
what comes next.
There can be ties.
No, in this case, there is no ties. All right.
He's
Iron
so rude.
Man 3.
5.
Wow. You just went straight to.
You said
just went-
blindly.
Okay. Thor Ragnarok.
Ooh, that's worse than 5. Can that be 6? We'll go with 4 for sure.
4. Okay. Avengers.
1.
You're putting Avengers 1 at the number 1
It's
spot.
still one of my favorite movies, even though Winter Soldier and Civil War and stuff are and Endgame. Avengers is still my favorite Marvel movie. I think because it just kind of like sealed it for me. So I'm gonna stick with 1.
Okay. Spider-Man 2.
3.
3. That was the air conditioner. So
The air conditioner need to give me some kind of warning because that door sounded like it was opening and I'm gonna need that bell to be put on it.
If I'm here, that means they're up there with you. I'm gone. I'm you and you're home. Okay. So, well, we do got to tell them. We should start telling them some stories like that.
Wait,
that
number 2.
that mouse story. Remember when I had to call you to come down? When you had to come down and help me with that mouse. Oh, or what about the lizard? Remember the lizard the other day that I?
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, we have some stories we should be
Do we
sharing.
have a video? Don't we have a picture of you on the counter or something?
No,
we need that.
Or the stories of you having to push me in the wheelchair at the museum. We got some good stories we got to share. So anyway, so we have Iron Man number 5, Thor Ragnarok number 4, Avengers Part 1 number 1. Spider-Man 2 number 3, and the last one is Captain Marvel. Or Captain Marvel.
See, you put all the bad ones in and one good one.
That's not my fault. You had to. This is how the game works. It's blindly. You don't know. You're trying to do your best to make sure the list can be as complete as possible.
But it doesn't make sense because if there's something worse than the
I know. That's why you're trying to do the best you can. Look, don't hate the plan.
Then it has to go number 2 then.
Yes, it has to.
And it went number 2. It really went number 2.
Wow. Now knowing the list, would you keep it like that or would you change anything?
I would definitely change it.
To what?
Avengers would be number 1.
Okay.
Spider-Man 2 would be number 2. Um, Thor Ragnarok would be number 3 probably, and Marvel's number 4 and Iron Man number 5. I don't even remember what Iron Man 3 was about. I can't even think of anything other than him dismantling a suit and the little boy was in there, but I don't have any kind of idea what that thought was, the plot was. What was it about?
I don't actually remember.
And it was
I
a high grossing movie too. That's what's so bizarre. Like,
It wasn't that good to me, but I think so many people were just so accustomed to Iron Man being good that they kind of just went there hoping it was good, and it didn't turn out that good. All right, what's this next segment you got for us?
well, I was trying to do dating do's and don'ts. That's what I was thinking.
Okay.
Like some I was just thinking like I don't date. But realistically, what would be some good
So I
things to do?
think this is a good opportunity for me to interview you.
No.
So you can
Um,
explain to us. Yeah, no, not interview as far as any of your dating life, because Lord knows we don't want to talk about that. But me ask you questions of what to do and what not to do on dates.
okay. But I mean, okay, fine. But I was thinking also like dating etiquette. But
Yeah,
yeah,
that's what
okay.
I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
Who pays the bill? Do you open the door? Because a lot of the stuff you had told me as I was getting older, growing up, you said you better make sure you open that door for her. You better make sure you do this, do that. I can't remember all the stuff, but you made sure you got on me on being polite, being cordial and chivalry, and making sure that I did the things as a young man was supposed to do going on dates. So
I think some things that people are kind of getting lost now are going up to the door before and after. You shouldn't honk for somebody and say, "Hey." I mean, I know things get kind of weird, and you can't find parking space and everything, but it just seems kind of rude to.
yeah, that's tricky because I'm with you on that one, and I know that back in the day when you pulled up to the house, you should walk up to the door. You should knock on that door, and I know it's scary because you don't know if the dad or the mom or somebody else is going to answer the door. You should do that, but I think nowadays, I think as a guy going up to a girl's house that he's trying to date, I think it I think the girl actually prefers you honk now, or not even
Really?
honk, not honk. I think they prefer you text. Hey, let
Say
me
that
know,
you're out
text
here.
me and let me know that you're outside so they can run out because they don't want the embarrassment or they don't want you to meet if they're living at home, they don't want you meeting their parents so soon. They don't, they want it to be under their own terms. So it's easier for them to just hop out, say, hey, bye, mom, bye, dad, hop out and go hop in the car and take off. Now, the parents might be old fashioned, be like, why is that boy coming up to the door? But I think they've already made that arrangement. Hey, just text me, let me know you're outside. So I think that's what's happening nowadays more than
What
anything.
about after the date?
If he's smart, he walks her up to the door.
Yeah. What if the date
And
didn't
what
go
does Will
well?
Smith say? You better be dangling those keys or something, or she's dangling the keys or something like that. You better take the hint.
What
Um,
if the date doesn't go well?
Drop her off at the end of the corner at the corner of the street.
At 30 miles an hour.
Say if the date doesn't go well, you'll know the date's not going well because body language will tell you, conversation will tell you. You'll know you're not getting a call back or a text back, or you may even be the one feeling like I'm never going to call this person or text this person back. You just want the date to be over. If you're just going to be polite, you pull up in front of the house, you get out of the car, you open the door and say, "Hey, have a good night," and make sure they get in there safely. If you
That's what I'm saying. I mean,
yeah.
just because the date doesn't go bad, do you still
Yeah,
drop
you
all
should at the
your
very least get out the car, open the door, say, I hope you get up to the door safe. I hope you walk up the driveway. I hope you walk up the driveway safe. And I'll see you. And then,
do you wait
oh,
till they get in the door?
how far is the driveway from the car?
I still do that, even if not even a date. I always try to wait till somebody gets in the
Yeah,
door.
you
You know,
should.
like
I mean, realistically, you should. It doesn't matter who it is because at the end of the day, it's still somebody's kid, it's still somebody's relative, and you should want to make sure that person gets inside safely. If it's reversed, I mean, if the dude is getting dropped off, I mean, I don't know why she's dating him in the first place, but um, so
modern
there should
times.
be that. But you know what? Nowadays, people don't care. People like back in the day, women didn't really care for guys that lived at home with their moms at older ages. Nowadays, I don't think they care anymore. They don't care if you still live at home with mom. They don't care if you even have a job. They don't care if you have a car, which is so weird. They don't care if. So I think the norms have changed significantly.
What do you
Um,
think that the big thing of what are big no's in dating? No, I mean, like if they don't care about that and stuff.
I would say those were the no's, in my opinion, back in the day. But since those aren't the no's, I think for me, using your phone when you're out on a date a lot. So you talk about pet peeve. That's a pet peeve of mine. Using the phone when you're on a date, because nowadays you see so many youngsters on a date, and the entire time they're just engrossed. They're just texting and they're playing on their phone the whole time, and you're like, how are they getting to know each other? How are they even talking to each other when they're literally just watching TikToks and texting? You like that's what they're more concerned about. I think one of the don'ts is don't use your phone. Talk to the person, get to know them, see if you guys actually have chemistry with each other. I would say from the minute you pick the person up to the minute that you drop them off, you try to use the phone as least amount of times as you can, unless like emergency or something major, somebody calling or texting you. You kind of just wait and respond back to everybody when you're done.
So, do you feel like in the pre-dating stage? I mean, everybody always like is texting and texting stuff. Do you think it's the? I mean, I know everybody was like, they don't want to talk so much. Do you think that that works in just texting as opposed to talking to somebody?
Well, so here's the thing. Now that's very tricky, especially today. I think nowadays people prefer texting until you have that first physical date. So after that first date, then they're more accepting of you calling and talking on the phone. I'm a traditionalist. I'm more so like in the past. I believe you don't get to know somebody until you actually talk to them on the phone. Because text messaging, for all I know, they could have given it to one of their friends and be like, "I don't know, I'm scared. You text for me." Seen it done before. Actually, that helped some of my friends out texting. I've had a text for my friends, but I won't say names or anything like that.
Okay.
You really are making this. I'm starting to sweat.
They're gonna text you, "Hey, don't be telling that."
Yeah, don't tell that story. Yeah, so I think in the beginning you kind of really got to think what's the other, you just fill it out. What's the person comfortable with? Sometimes nowadays people are like I just want to text. They don't want to call, but call them. See what happens. Just call on the phone. I mean, the worst thing that's going to happen is they're going to ignore you and text you, which is what you guys been doing anyway. But just think about how much emotion you would get from a phone call as opposed to a text. The text, you really like, you have a personality kind of similar to me where your text messages don't make any sense half the time. So I don't ever get to know your personality or what you're really trying to say through text. Same with me. A lot of times when I'm talking or whatever, I'll be a completely different person. What are you doing?
Somebody's
All these
calling.
different movements and stuff distract me when I'm in the middle of talking.
Oh, sorry.
Can you
Oh,
just sit there
okay.
and not move? Geez, do I need to text you right now? You can
I was like,
understand what
"What
I'm
else are
saying.
you getting ready to say?"
Geez. Yeah, I would say like you need to call and talk to them on the phone so you can hear their emotion. Because sometimes people crack jokes or they'll say something, and if you could hear me say it, you'll get that I'm cracking a joke. But if it's coming in a text message, you might think like, "Ooh, what's he talking? He's rude," or you can't catch it. So
Yeah, you can't convey message. You can't
yeah,
convey emotions, even if you put those whatever those crazy little symbols are. And I don't understand any of those. You still can't. It's really hard
emojis.
to
Yeah.
emojis. Yeah. On. I don't understand that why you just don't talk. Okay, so in the dating etiquette, there are two things I always think about. For guys, I think and I guess this is more, it's not so much like on the dating, but when you've been with somebody and you guys are going out, these are things I always think about. I always think that, you see women, they go and it takes them 2 hours or whatever to get dressed, and then you come down looking like, okay, I have on a pair of jeans and a pair of, a shirt that you threw on. This is what drives me crazy, honestly. It's like, I always say, don't if you're gonna go out on a date and the other person is putting an effort into looking good for you, you should put that same effort into looking good for them as well.
Mm, okay.
If I would think that if like a woman, if a guy came down and say if I were a woman and I was dressed all nicely and everything, and the guy came out, looked like, oh, I have a pair of jeans and a shirt on, I mean a t-shirt on, like, you couldn't have done better. To me, I always think like, you should, if you're gonna go out on a date, make it worthwhile. You want her to look good, you want to look good, and you want to look good for her the same way you want her to look good for you. To me, if I go out on a date, I want that person to be thinking, wow, this person looks really good to me. You know, and so to me, I often see guys and more guys than not, than when they're out, I'll be looking because I'm a people watcher. So I'm like at some place I can tell when somebody's on date. I'm like, he didn't put much effort into this thing. This girl came out looking like $1 million, and you look like you went to the 99-cent store and had change him coming back. That's what I don't like. To me, that unevenness when you go out on a date.
And I think it's a mixed thing sometimes too. I think some people care about it and some people don't. Like I would say it's probably more 50-50. I know some women look at dudes and be like, man, you're not dressed. You kind of look, you're kind of bumming it, and it'll bother them, versus others, they don't really care at all. I think guys more so care than women.
That they
Even if they're not going to dress up themselves, because looks, when she walks out there, especially the first date, she walks out that door the first time, you kind of want to be wowed like you were, and the reason why you're trying to talk to them in the first place. You want to be wowed when you see them for the first time, and then as you guys date and go on more dates, it could become more casual. But
But you don't think you don't want to wow her?
no, I'm just giving you perspective. I'm not talking
Um,
from my own perspective. I'm just
no,
saying
no, no. That's what
perspective
I'm saying.
in general.
If that's the thought that guys want to be wild by that, you don't think guys want to,
No, I
like,
just said I think guys care about that more. So you're going to get more, majority of guys are going to need that, versus I think women are like 50-50. Some women care about how guys are dressed, which is why I think it's become more accepting to see a guy not dress up as much as a woman, because some women just don't care as much. It's like I said, as far as living at home, some women don't care anymore, versus back in the day, like when you were born back in the day, you had to be out of the house in order to even date somebody. That wasn't even an option, or you had to have your own car to pick them up. So it's just it's a different time we're living in now, and people have to get adjusted to that. When I was growing up, you were younger, you had to call the house phone if you were trying to talk to the person you wanted to date. And you didn't know if the dad was going to answer the phone. You didn't know if the mom,
if they would be on the
sister,
phone, like on that
you didn't,
click,
yeah, they could be on the other
Yeah.
end listening to
Right.
it. So you didn't know any of those things. So it's just different. Now everybody's got a cell phone, texting. Kids are probably in their room texting their crushes nowadays, and it's too easy. The world is too easy now for them. They didn't have any of the struggles that people had back in the day.
What would
So
be an ideal? What do you think a ideal first date should be?
definitely avoid going to the movies. People used to always say the movies, but how do you get to know the person when you're sitting down watching a movie the whole time? It's awkward in the movie the whole time because you're sitting next to each other. And some of the things that people don't ever consider is that armrest. You know, guys, half the time when they're sitting there, the armrest is down. Do I leave it down or I lift it up in the movie? And you're sitting there on this date and you're not talking, you're not getting to know the person at all. You're watching this movie, and to be honest, you're not even paying attention to half the movie probably most of the time, because in your mind you're thinking of, how do I talk? How do I crack a joke on this funny scene in this movie? It's ridiculous the whole time. And then are you corny and you sitting there like this on the armrest? But if you lift up the armrest, it's kind of awkward. Like, wait, she might be looking at you like, what are you doing? Put that armrest back down. So it's just little things. Don't even put yourself in that position. Do something fun, an activity. Go bowling, or go out and do some type of activity. Go to a bar and where there's music, a little bit of dancing, something where you guys can keep talking the whole time. There's a
But
little
at a
bit of
bar, can
physical
you
activity.
talk? I
Yeah,
mean,
of
like
course. Yeah,
Doesn't seem like that. I mean, I know people like to drink and then they get a lot
it didn't
more
have to be like
lucid,
that. It
but
could be someplace where a lot of places have like dancing and they have food, restaurants, salsa places, and um, just something like that. I mean, if you really wanted to go down, go to like Universal Studios, or and it's more of an expensive first date for sure. You better hope it's the second one behind it, otherwise you spend a lot of money. But you want something kind of that's going to be engaging, fun, and then um, not so boring.
so do you think the first date should be an expensive date or should it be like you taper into it? You don't want to like throw a big first date and say it doesn't go well. I mean, like, so do you want to have like a moderate first date or do you want to have like a big explosive first date? Like,
Well, you're asking the wrong person because my first date with my girlfriend was very expensive. So was very, very expensive. I think I probably have
yeah,
everybody beat on how expensive the first date was.
yeah, that was
Um, so I don't know. I think you got to play it out. If it's somebody that you really think is somebody special and you're going to end up being with them, or you could see yourself potentially being with them, then the price shouldn't really matter as much. But if it's something where you're kind of testing out, you don't know how it's going to be. Bowling's like $20. Go bowling.
um I don't know where you bowl anymore. Bowling is $30 at the max per person without the shoes and everything now.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's it's gone
No, there's got
quite
to be cheaper nights. There's got to be
well.
cheaper.
Maybe it is, but my group that I kind of don't bowl with, but they go bowling, and then they tell me how much it is. Usually, it's like $30 or something like that.
You
It's
know who we need to bring on?
Dawn and
We need
Michelle.
to bring on Brandon and have him give us some do's and don'ts. First dating. Let me see. Let me see where he's at right now. I might have to bring him into this
Oh,
podcast and get his
we would love to hear some of people's first date
get his.
experience. That's what would be really fun. I wish Dawn and Michelle were listening, and they could tell about some different first experience dates and stuff. If you guys, the three people that are listening, still, oh, do we have any? We don't have anybody.
Yeah, there's
Give us your
somebody.
first date experience and what you like on a first date. What would you expect? I don't go out on dates. I have to take myself out because nobody goes out with me, and so I'm a fun date though. I mean, I talk to myself and I laugh.
Why don't you go on dates anymore?
Any more?
Or when's the
Um,
last time you've been on a date?
what century are we in? I'm pretty sure it was not in this century. I don't know. I don't know. I would. I just never can think of anything. That's why I was thinking about this was like I really don't know what's a good date. What's a good first date? Like because like Universal Studios to me or something like that would be fun, but that's very expensive and it seems more like second or third date, like, hey, let's go here, but like to me, like an ideal date, I would love to go on a picnic. To me, I love those. I love simple things like that, like go on a picnic.
What did you just say?
I like simple things like that. I'm
Okay,
very
describe this picnic.
the basket, you go to some place with a nice area where you can there are no bugs and dog poop and everything and stuff, and you just sit out there and talk and have fun. And I love stuff like that. I'm actually a very um I'd say simple in a way of I can it doesn't take a lot. I don't need the big fancy fireworks and all that. I can be happy just going on simple things, going on like a walk or something, like that. That to me, I like those kind of things. I
That's
like the
probably why
dates
you haven't been on many dates.
right. Why I do those things with myself. I like things like that, but I do like the fancier dates. I mean, like but I never could think of things. That's why I was like, well, what do people do for dates now? And I'm sure I'm not the only one that's like wanting to know. Jenny, how are you? Haven't heard from you in a while. Um, Give me an idea of a date. What would you be a good first date for you? Anybody, but I know Jenny, she'll give me something. She's
Like
pretty funny.
places. Give us some places.
Places. Oh yeah, where would be a place? But okay, what about
Who's Jenny?
Jenny is a friend of mine.
Is she on right now?
I see her on mine. You see her
Oh,
on yours?
she's watching live, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Oh,
Paris.
I
Jenny,
thought she had
that's not a
commented.
good first date. She went on like one of your first dates. She said Paris.
Don't be careful going that route.
That's more of a anniversary date or something like that. Paris.
Okay. I'm gonna have you talk for just a second, and then I'm gonna come right back. So keep talking.
Haven't I been talking? What am I
No,
doing?
just keep going.
Okay. Would like I would like to hear. Okay, so going to Paris, if someone said, "Oh, we're gonna whisk you off to Paris," would you do that on a first date, or would that be something you would be like, "Okay, she's going to Rome now." Would you want to go to Rome on your first date? Because I think some things you have to build up. Because if I take you to Paris on our first date, there's gonna be a lot of expectations on that. Two, then you're gonna be expecting that every time we decide to have a date. It's like, oh, we're gonna be whisked off to Rome and Paris and Egypt and Bali. No, 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 no. We have to like taper. We need here to here. Hopefully he's a pilot. I think those would be the ideal people to date. Seriously, pilots and stewardess that can get you free tickets. That would be wonderful because just think about it. Say seriously, they're in a different city or something like that. Oh, well, come meet me here. And they can fly you there for free. Yes, hook me up. That's what I need in my life. If there's anyone out there who's flying, hook me up. Let's go. My bags are packed right now. And rich. Wow. Okay. Oh, the delay happened again. Brandon, the delay happened again. Wow, we're on a real high delay. Because that was 20 seconds ago when that happened. Oh wow. Okay, but if they're not rich, what would be a simple date that you would enjoy? Something like uh going to farmers market. Would that be something you do? Like, or go pick cherries? I don't know. I don't know. Okay, so here's what made me think about the dates. We were trying to think of topics and subjects and everything, and I always think about, well, when I see people on dates, sometimes don't you see people on dates and you can see that they're like awkward, they don't know how to talk, they don't know how to like what do you expect on a date? Do you want the person to be I know women are different than men. Men, we are kind of always, ready for something to happen. But do you want the guy to say do you want him to be slightly aggressive where he tries to make a move? And I'm not talking about a major move, but just, maybe holding your hand, kissing you or something. Or do you want that to be on the second or third date? But because sometimes I feel like when something doesn't necessarily happen, the other person thinks, well, maybe they're not interested. So that's how what I was kind of like always going like, how do you know to go say, oh, let me hold your hand, or hi Julie, yes, a date where you can talk and get to know each other. So where would you go on a date where you can get to know each other and talk? Because like B Rose was saying, bar and everything, but it seems like a bar is a noisy place and you have a lot of distractions and everything. Do you want to go to a more quiet place, like like just an intimate restaurant, you know or someplace fun like Santa Monica Pier? That's it's loud and stuff, but you can still like you know have a moment with each other. I think not a movie. Yes, you can't talk for sure. Julie, our subject is dating right now. This is what we're doing. We're talking about dating etiquettes, do's and don'ts. We've kind of covered the dressing, and we're kind of figuring out where a good first date is and what you like to see on a first date, second date, or whatever. And how do you let? Okay, this is for ladies. How do you let the guy know that you're interested in him enough to go on a second date, but you don't want anything to happen on the first date? You know what I mean? How do you let him know, like, hey, you know, you look hot. I'd like to date you again. How do you do that? A restaurant in if you don't get out of Paris, we need you to come back to America, Jenny. Stay in America for a little bit. Jenny loves to travel. She's worse than I am. Jenny will be talking to you tonight, and she are you in Paris right now? You probably are in Paris right now, knowing Jenny. She's probably there right now. What time is it? It's probably like 10 o'clock in the morning. Julie, what would you say is a good first date for you? It's mostly ladies on. No, there are no guys on. There's nobody on. Well, talk amongst yourselves. We're doing this podcast. This is our podcast. This is the Blithering Roses. In case you just tuned in, and I wasn't supposed to be saying the credits because he got mad at me before when I said the Blithering Roses, and we're on all these different formats: YouTube, TikTok, and um, Instagram, whatever. But he wants to say the credits and to click like and subscribe. So let him do that later on. Let him do it. It'll be a surprise for him. Well, whatever. Um, so see the delay. You can see the delay. I can see the delay because I'm looking at it on my phone. I have y'all can't see, but I have me here. There's a camera and there's a TV. So I have. Can you see? No, you can't see that. Oh well. Anyway, y'all can't see, but I don't know how well. So I have three monitors that I'm looking at, and I'm all confused because I don't know where I am. If I'm over there, here, or there, and on the anyway.
Don't worry about the delay. Of course, it's going to be a few seconds delay. That's part of it. They're getting a little split second delay from us,
I
but
know,
that's
but
normal.
it's kind of crazy. I don't know where I'm here or there. I already did it. I'm like, oh, I said that already. You don't know. And then it's like a fight within. Okay, where'd you go?
So what have I missed? Bring me up to speed.
Jenny keeps saying that she wants to go to Paris apparently, and she say a restaurant in Paris is a good place for a date, and not a
Like
movie.
Paris, California?
I
Paris,
think people are more comfortable at the second location of a date. For example, first drinks are bar, then dinner at a restaurant. Something about going to a second location helps ease the awkward on a first date. That does make sense.
What?
Instead of just staying at one place when you're on a date, like your first date. Say if you go to a bar and then you go to a dinner, or you go to dinner first and then
Yeah.
you go to a bar afterward. That kind
Yeah.
of does make sense. Not staying in
Have
one
multiple
place.
things. That's what I'm thinking. Like that's why I said bowling because it makes it simple. You go bowling first, hang out, and then you go get a drink afterwards. As long as the date's going good. So you plan something. A lot of times too, if it's that first date and you're not really sure, especially if it's like a blind date, go to like Starbucks, get a coffee or something like that, so you can have an escape plan if it's not going good. You just drink something real quick. It's casual. They don't feel pressured to have to go on this date or to have to stay on this date or do anything longer like that. So do Starbucks coffee, and then if it's going well, then suggest, hey, if you're having fun, why don't we go, mini golf or something like that. But hey, guys, I got a treat for you guys. We have a dating expert that we're going to be bringing in here for everybody. This man should get no introduction. They call him B. Farren. So he's going to be spitting some knowledge to you guys. We are probably going to be dying laughing off of some of the things he's saying. So we'll welcome Mr. Farren here.
What's up, B? What's up?
What's going on, guys? I had no idea I was an expert. This is breaking news to me. But
Yeah.
It's breaking news to all of us.
yeah, someone
You
must have
know,
woke up on the right side of the bed this morning or something.
when we were talking earlier, we were like, I was just in the middle laughing, and we were just talking about dating advice. I said, you know what? We need to bring Farren onto this because he's gonna have some good insights about this. So, Rick, hit him with some of the stuff.
So, give us a good first date for you. What would you look for? Where would you go? What do you want out of the first date?
Well, I think to take a step back, I think the better thing is what attracts you to that person in the first place. And that goes for me. The first thing that I pay attention to is someone's smile. You know,
Ooh,
if you have a nice set of teeth.
Okay.
Personally, to me, that just tells me you have good hygiene. You care about, what your teeth look like. You care about what you look like. And moving forward, I want to find out what this person's about. And then from there, you get the similarities, maybe things that you guys like, dislike, whatever that case may be. And then I think that dictates where you would take the first date. You're not going to go extreme, obviously, on the first date, but do something that, you two relatively both like.
So give us a first date that you've had that has gone well, or no, give us a first date that you've gone on that has gone bad. How about that?
Ooh,
Jeez, that's
ooh.
rough.
All right. I kind of blame myself for this one, but
Okay, it's even
it,
better.
but it was still a bad day. So I got off work. I think I was working day shift at the time. Um, I got off like at 6 o'clock that evening. We're supposed to meet up at 8, and I go to her house. I pick her up, and this day's so bad I don't even remember the girl's name that I took out on a date. I
Okay.
can't even tell you her name, to be honest with you. But anyway, we go on a date to go to the movies, and we go see the Avengers, the Age of Ultron. And I don't know what it was, but I was so bored with the company. And we're supposed to be quiet in the movie, right? We're supposed to be paying attention to the movie. I fell asleep.
No, you didn't.
I was knocked out. I was knocked out cold.
No, you didn't fall
I was
asleep in
knocked
the
out.
movie. Why am I just now hearing about this story?
You guys asked a question, and it just came to mind.
It's funny. Okay, keep going, and then I'll tell you something after that.
But the part that I knew I messed up on this date was when I woke up in the middle of that movie. I woke up, I looked over at her, and she was looking at me like, "Yeah, I know you're sleeping." I was like, "Ooh." So
I
taking her
was
back home, that was a very quiet drive back.
okay. So now, so this is perfect because we were talking about this earlier. You guys are driving back. What happened when you got to her house? Did you walk her to the door still? Did you just open that? Like, what would talk us? What did you do when you got back to the house?
Well, I mean, I think every guy should. So before I could even step foot, turn the car off or anything, she got out of the car and closed it and just took off. Yeah,
Well,
yeah, I don't
there,
think this is gonna.
etiquette went right out the door. But
Yeah, I was like, I don't
So,
think I did too good
wait,
on this one.
did you just drive off after that? Did you
oh my
stay
god.
Yeah,
and
I took off. I did my
did
due
you
diligence to make sure she made it in the house safely, but I was
okay?
like, yeah,
All right, so you covered some of the things we were talking about. So she was over it just as much as you were.
Did you
yeah. I
ever
mean,
text her back or call her back or anything?
oh no, that was it. That was a wrap. I was like, yeah, I screwed up, and maybe she did too. I don't know, but
Oh man, that's funny. So I was telling Rick earlier when we were talking about dates to not go on, like the don'ts. And I thought, and I actually suggested, I said, do not go to the movies. I think movies is a terrible first date because it's awkward. You can't talk to really get to know the person. You're just sitting there like this the whole time. And you're like, do I look at them? Do I lean? Like, and then what do you do? And then sometimes people want to talk during the movie. Sometimes they don't. Like, it's just awkward.
But traditionally, movies are what you always see people on. Like there's that whole, like when you can go put your arm around her and stuff like that. Like traditionally, that's what you always see people go on dates is at the movies and stuff like that. And then like horror movies, the girl gets scared and then they lean into you more and stuff like that. That's a traditional date, though. I mean, like we've always when we watch the movies, we watch the people dating at the movies and stuff.
So let me ask you this, Farren. What are some of the things that you think guys look for in a woman when they first meet them that kind of
Okay, wait,
gets them?
wait, hold on. Jenny says, this is one of my friends, don't let a first date that you don't know well drive you to the date. That's,
That's a good
that
point.
is very
Meet
important
there,
too,
so that way you're not stuck. Meet so you're not stuck. But I've seen some people be like, forget it, I'm taking an Uber back because
right.
the date's going that bad. They're like, forget it, I don't even
that is
need you to
true.
drop me off. I'll just take an Uber back home. And if they're willing to spend $40 to get back home, you're not getting a call back after that.
That's a lot of money for a bad date.
Yeah, that is. So yeah, so what do you think, B? What are some of the things that you think guys are most attracted to in the beginning that kind of makes them want to go with the girl in the first place on a date?
Um, I don't know. I mean, I feel like the times of dating have changed so much to where, back in the day, people would go up to people and actually talk to them. And, if they got rejected, they had that walk of shame. If they didn't, they were like, hey, I'm the man. I'm good. I got this. Too
Right.
many people now are keyboard warriors and they like to do things online as opposed to doing it the old fashioned way. Um, so I think for the people that do it the old fashioned way, I think they look for things that stimulate them. You know, does that person have a good personality? Something that, like I said, something that maybe you guys can relate to. You hear somebody talking about, I don't know, let's use basketball, for example. Someone's talking, trash about LeBron James, and let's say you're a LeBron James fan or a basketball fan. Like, hey, what'd you say about him? That can create a little conversation, a little competition, and that can create a spark of interest in that fact. But I just think it depends on what it is that you like and what are you going after. And I think it also depends on your age too. You know, at 19,
Mm.
at 19, we were just focused on girls. Like, hey, we're in college and all that. But I remember somebody, actually a couple people, I remember actually took a dance class because they were interested in these two girls that were actually in that class. I don't know what the heck they were thinking, but
And that's all the time we have for folks. Thank you.
hey, I told you I'm no expert here. I'm only the founder of
Oh,
Fahrenheit. That's all I am.
oh man. Oh, jeez. So now, now ask him about dressing the clothes. That question you asked me earlier, Rick? As
Okay.
far as
So, my whole thing is always that sometimes the woman dresses a lot more for the date than the guy. And do you think that it's fair, like, that she spends 2 hours, 3 hours getting dressed and everything, and then the guy comes down and he's in a t-shirt and jeans and stuff like that? I mean, do you think that there should be a balance? Because I think, to me, I always say I don't want the date to outdress me, and I don't mean necessarily look better than I, but I mean, if they put so much effort into their time and effort, I want to have put the same much time and effort into my dress because I want them to look at me and go, "Wow, he looks really good." So do you feel that the dress is important to you? The fit.
That's a good question. I'm going to say yes and no. Yes, because we don't want to be going to a date looking like, like a scrub or anything. You want to look decent. You want to look clean. You want to smell good, look good, all the above. But I'm going to say no because primarily whenever you're taking a girl out on a date, it's typically you that's coming up with the master plan of what it is you guys are doing. So you're putting the time and effort that you need to
yes.
put into the date. Like, hey, we're going to this exquisite dinner. Do I need to spend an additional like $150 on my outfit because I'm already spending 150 on this dinner? Why do I need to maybe spend 150 on me when I'm already planning something exquisite or something special later on tonight?
Let me ask you this: what's a perfect first date?
Um, that's a good question. I think something physical, and I don't mean like touching. I mean something physical where,
I was like, "Whoo, we gonna get canceled before we even get started."
We are gonna
well,
get canceled, man.
I can explain.
This is his best friend.
No, I say something physical is something good. I mean, something that relates to, competition. It's like a physical game or like let's say you're going to Top Golf. I got introduced to that not too long ago. I think that'd be a really good first date. Let's say you know how to play or she doesn't know how to play or vice versa. The other person could actually direct that person on how to swing properly.
You better
Hey,
stop it.
your
You better
form is
stop it.
your form is like this. Let's do this instead. Hey, you hit the ball better this time. Good job.
You
Give me
get
a
behind
five.
them,
Give me a hug.
and then show the swing. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I mean, if it gets down to that, like, hey, you know what? I don't think you understand this. Let me break it down for you. And then you do what you got to do there. I don't
Okay,
know.
what if they're a better golfer than you already?
Well, then I'm going to ask for lessons.
Okay, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, Rick. Just hold on 1 second. Let me ask you this: do you let them win, or do you go and just like I'm winning? I don't care if it's a date or not.
I think you should leave it competitive. If if she's a sore loser, if you realize that, keep it close. But if she's one that can actually accept losing, go all out. Let her know, hey, I'm no one to mess around with.
I don't know how to lose. I mean, I can lose, but I don't know how to let somebody just beat me. So I'm going all out. Yeah, I'm trying to win every single time. It don't matter if we're
Huh?
playing darts, axe throwing, bowling.
Huh?
Even though
That
look, I know my average for bowling is like a 70, but I'm gonna try to give them everything I can when
right.
I go down. Well, speaking of that, what's your bowling average right now?
Oof. The last time I was in the league, I think I was about 207, 210, something like that.
So okay, we were talking about this earlier. Be fair, and it's about as close as you're gonna get to a professional bowler. Um, how much is bowling cost right now? Because Rick said I'm not gonna tell you what Rick said yet, but how much is bowling going for right now? If you
Um,
were to take a girl on a date and you need to make it as cheap as possible going bowling, how much can we expect to pay?
well, I'll give you Morongo prices. For anyone who knows Morongo, that's out in the high desert or low desert. You can go bowling for about an hour for $20 an hour, and that covers two people. So if you want to do two more than an hour, $40, not including shoes, which is probably about $5 a piece. So you're looking at $50 for 2 hours, not including drinks, food, or anything like that.
So if you went for just an hour, you can get it under 30
You can get it for exactly 30. Like for someone like me who has my own shoes, I only have to pay $5 or whatever for her shoes. So it'd be $25 for me
bucks. There
for
you
an
go, Rick.
hour.
There you go. Go
Oh, it-
bowling and $25 get you and your date. Well,
But is that
30 bucks if you're
place
gonna cut shoes.
reasonable? Because I'm telling you, I've gone to places and they've been
Well, we got to
crazy.
take into account gas prices. So by the time you get
That's
there with
another thing.
gas, it's going to cost you about 70, $80. But
Yeah.
still, the bowling we can get bowling a little cheap though.
Yeah, there's nights you can go. I mean, they still have things in Redlands where you can go out and spend $5 to get in, and then I think it's like $2 a game after that. So you're still going to spend about $25, maybe 30. Now,
What if the girl insists on paying and stuff for the date? Would you be in for that, or how would you react to that?
I have no problem with that personally. I have no problem with it at all. I mean, it shows that she is not a freeloader. It shows that she's willing to participate in, paying for things. And I think that's really important in today's society. A lot of people look at people, whether it's male or female, like, oh, they're gold digging. They're here for me because of my money, but X, Y, and Z. If somebody's willing to pay for something, if let them offer it. If you want to say, hey, thanks, but no thanks, I got this. That's the worst. I mean, why not? You could tell them, I got it this time. Maybe next time.
So would you let them? So even if they suggested to pay on the first date, would you let them pay, or do you want to just know that at least the thought was there, but you're still going to pay yourself?
I think on the first date, I mean, if you're the one that's initiating the date, you should not have her pay for anything. I think you're the one that initiated that. So whenever I invite somebody to something, I'm paying for it.
That's a
That's
good
just how it is.
philosophy. That's a good philosophy. If
I'm
she's
available for
inviting,
dinner, by the way. If you feel like inviting anybody right now for dinner, just as a friend or whatever, I'm
You
here.
should,
I'm here
you
for
should
you.
have came. You should have came to Derek's birthday party. I invited and I paid. You should have been there, Ricky.
I didn't get the invite.
Ah, I hate when that happens.
yeah, that's actually a good strategy. Whoever has the does the invite is the one that pays for it. I
Yeah.
like it.
Jenny says, if you invite me on a date, you better damn well be paying for that date. That's what she says. And I mean, I understand that too, because it's like you said, but Jenny, what about you? If you invited the guy on the date, would you expect him to pay, or would you want to pay for it?
I think like Farren said a minute ago, though, realistically, I want to know that they at least think about paying and are willing
Right.
to pay. Like if I said, okay, go ahead and pay, I want to see the credit card come out. I don't want you just fronting. I want to see the credit card coming out, acting like you're gonna pay, and then I'll still be like, no, I got it. Just because I want to know that you're actually willing to pay. Because some people, you can tell their character if they're willing to spend the money that they work hard to get on you. Also,
Hmm.
I don't mind paying for you, but I want to know that I mean something to you also, and that you're willing to spend your money on me too. So, especially in today's society.
Be fair, and have you ever had, okay, so that was a date where you fell asleep and you were kind of like not the good candidate. Have
Oh
you
yeah.
ever had a date where she was not a good candidate, or like she did something that just turned you off on the date or anything?
Um. Well, to be honest, when I actually went on that date, I was kind of. It was one of those internet dates. You know, you met somebody online. They, I didn't get catfished or anything like that, but they looked a lot different in person than they did, you know, from their profile pictures. So as soon as I picked the person up, I was kind of like, I was raised not to be this way, but you know, let's carry on with the date. But I was not really interested in what I saw once I got there, because I was kind of misled, if you want to call it that.
But that's so funny. Everybody has that whole thing about the catfishing thing. And I understand because I've been catfished before. I was like, you're not even a catfish. You look more like a monkey. I mean, that's what I was thinking, but I
Ooh,
didn't say it. What
we're
I
gonna be
don't get is
careful.
that somebody, you always are going to put a better picture. You're not gonna put a bad picture because you're not gonna get any kind of feedback or something. So you always gonna put a better picture that you may like been like, oh, somebody said, oh, this is the best picture you ever had or something like that. So of course you're gonna put that. So you're not gonna always look like that. Do you feel like that? I mean, I'm not saying catfish in the sense of where you're a totally different person or something, but that somebody's gonna look better in their pictures than they may look. You know, I mean, is that such a harsh thing where you're like, oh my gosh, you don't look anything like? I mean, because my pictures are from like 1992 when I looked really good. If I'm on, I had a good picture then.
So are you catfishing?
I can't fish myself because I look back, I'm like, wow, I look really good, and then I find out I don't look like that. So I don't know.
So we've been talking to me, asking me. We've been talking to B Farren. What's your ideal date?
I don't know.
You
That's
said
why I
you
just said,
said you said a picnic earlier, but you answered some
oh
of the
yeah.
questions that we asked. Is like, what do you
That's what I'm
think?
saying. To me, I would go something simple like the like you said, the bowling or the golfing. I'm not really into golfing, but I know everybody does the top golf thing now. And to me, because I'm kind of cheap, and it's not that I'm cheap, it's just that I'm poor. So some things that like expensive dates on the first date to me are not those are kind of funny to me. I'm like, you spend all this money on somebody that you don't necessarily know. I'd rather spend money, a lot more money, when I get to know that person. I don't want to go hog wild first, in the first date. I'd like to go simple to bigger. That's the way I would like to be.
Okay, so let me ask you:
Something.
how do you feel about these two dating styles? Online dating, blind dating. These questions for both of you guys. Two separate questions. Blind dates. How do you feel about that? And then online dating.
Who's first?
Blind dating in the sense where you don't know what they look like at all.
At all. A friend setting you up. You get there and you walk in at the table and you have no clue what they look like until you sit down. And have you
Who's
been on?
paying?
I have a funny story behind it. Tell us.
Who's paying? Because if it's
Am
a
I going?
blind date, and go ahead, B, because you can
Um,
handle that one.
so a blind date, I think that could be exciting because you don't know what you're getting yourself into. I mean, the mysteriousness behind it. I think that could be fun. I've never been on a blind date before, but I've heard of blind dates being disasters or being, cruel jokes on somebody. And I don't want to be the butt of someone's joke personally. If it's a blind date where it's actually benefiting me and that person, yeah, I'm all for it. But if it's just a cruel ploy for something, then I don't want a part of it. Internet dating, I thought was cool back in the day. And throughout my experiences, I would not recommend it personally because one, you're a keyboard warrior, you're saying all these smooth things, all these smooth lines. But if you're that smooth, say it in person. Say it to the person in front of you. Hey, you know what? You interest me. Say it in person.
Okay.
I
Okay.
don't think it does you justice because if you're not that type of person, why are you that type of person behind a keyboard?
Okay.
You should always be yourself.
Now, were you that kind of person before that you needed the keyboard to help you, or did you figure out like why was that such a driving force for you not to want to do it anymore?
Um, I've had some scary situations in my past where I've dealt with people online where they told me one thing and they weren't, and before you know it, you have someone else that's coming after you. You don't need that.
Hold on. We don't need to dive into stuff too personal. But
Ooh, I'm
ah,
so
okay,
scared right this minute. I
yeah,
don't know.
we're just gonna
That's
we'll go.
offline.
Ricky, what do you think about online dating?
It's I don't know how people date. That's what I'm saying. I don't know how people date. And anyway, so to me, online dating is not a bad thing. I think that you can, as long as you get to know somebody, that like if you get to know, if you're online dating and you're talking to somebody, eventually you've got to talk. I would think, like to a person and see them on camera or something like that. And I don't think it's a bad place. Like we're in modern times now. Everybody's online now. So to me, it just seems like you're comfortable there. You can like swipe left or swipe right or up or down. I don't know which way we're swiping, but whatever way you're swiping, and if there's something that catches your eye, I don't. I mean, I'm not opposed to the blind dating. That's a two-sided thing. First of all, I've seen people set up on blind dates, and I'm like, wow, that's who you chose for that person. And then because it kind of makes you think like, oh, this is what you think of me, that you would set me up with this type of person. And then on the other side, that I've never been set up with a blind date, and I've seen other people that I'm like, really, you set that person up with that person, but not me. But anyway, that's just me. I'm like, so blind dating would be a hard thing for me. I would be like, I don't know.
Okay,
I'm
so
desperate right now, so I would go like, what the
you're
hell?
going to
I have
blind
nothing
date,
else to do.
deaf date. You're going in. Okay,
All
so
of them.
last question I'll ask here. And it's more of like a game type of thing, but you're at the mall right now. Somebody's attractive in front of you. Give me your best line to hit on them. Go, Rick. You first. What are you saying?
I don't.
Even if you're not good,
I don't
I just
have
want to hear
pickup
it.
lines.
I just well, then
To
what do you say?
me,
Then what do you? Don't give me an explanation. Tell me what you say. You're walking
it
up to
really
them.
depends on what I see about that person,
Okay,
because
they're nicely
I'm
dressed.
attracted to smells,
They're nicely
and
dressed, and they have the best perfume on.
that would be something I'd be like, oh my god, you smell. This is what I told Kelly Ripa when I went to her. She smelled like Sunday morning good loving before you go to church. That's what she
Okay, you
smelled.
can't say that the first time you meet the person. You're gonna freak them out.
I know, but that's what
That's probably why you haven't been on a date in a
I
while.
know. So apparently, that's why I'm taking notes right now.
Okay,
But
so what do you say? What would you say?
I
Let me
would
hear your
say that
line.
your perfume was really enchanting to me. I think that it's very exotic. I don't know. I don't have good pickup lines. I always try to be honest. To me, if I see something like, I love the way your eyes look. I'm a big eye person, so I'm always like, I've gone by people and like, just even waitresses and stuff, and been like, my God, your eyes are
Okay,
just
so you really
amazing.
want to take this person on a date? What are you saying to them to get them?
I
So
try to
you
find something that I
okay?
like
So
about
you
them, and
walked up. So now they said, "Oh, thank you. You like my eyes." Then what are you saying to get their number to seal the deal?
I don't get numbers. That's why I'm taking notes for dates purpose. This is the whole conversation, so I know how to do dates. I don't do it. I
All
don't
right,
know.
can
I
you
just
show them how it's done? Be fair.
I can attempt to show them how it's done. I'm not sure
Okay.
that's how it's done.
Okay. All right. So you at Inland Center are you're
Dude,
at
can we go to
Tyler.
Ontario? All right, there we go.
You're
birthday
or you're at
podcast. Go ahead. I'm
what's
sorry.
the mall called? That mall in Torrance that's really big.
Del Amo Mall.
Del Amo. You're at Del Amo Mall. You're walking through. This fine honey is standing there in the food court, and you're like, "That's it. That's the one." Hold on, B Rose. I'll be right back. All right. What do you do?
I think the first thing you go up to her is just you smile, make that eye contact.
Okay.
If she lost eyes and says anything to you, like, or you say hi, hey, I'm Brandon. What's your name? Just create some
Okay.
small talk.
Okay.
She's gonna have to tell you her name, or she can say, I'm not interested. You get that? Okay. Well, I just
Okay.
wanted to tell you who I was. Just wanted to, shoot my shot at you. But anyways, if the conversation goes past that, oh, I couldn't help but notice, you were over here with your friend. I was just wondering if there's any chance of, if you're single. If so, I'd like to take you out for a drink or something. I don't know.
Oh, okay. I think those interactions can be very awkward though,
It can be.
because nowadays you don't know if they're actually interested or not. And a lot of people don't like giving their phone numbers out anymore. They like giving out their social media.
Yeah.
Like, oh no, you can't have my number, but here's my Instagram, or here's my Snapchat, I guess, or TikTok.
That's
I
the
don't
whole
know.
thing too. Is like that whole the Instagram and all that stuff. To me, I'm like, if you want us to do something, why not give me your number or something like that? That's what I would. But to me, I hear people doing lines all the time and stuff. I'm like, why would? And I'm surprised some of the women fall for the line, honestly, because I see guys going up to girls and they're saying stuff, and I'm like, you are not falling for that line, and they fell for it, and I'm like, come on. To me, you can if you're attracted to somebody, there's always something about that person that you should be able to say, I love that dress on you. I love how your eyes look. I love how your hair looks. You caught my attention from across the room. To me, that's the way I always try to approach it. Like, if there's something that literally caught your attention, why not say, hey, out of this crowded room, you brought my attention right to you or something. That's what I try to do, but I don't know if everybody goes that way.
I just doing some thinking right now, and I just thought of it, and I totally forgot. The last few times that I actually was successful, was doing something like that, I asked if they wanted to go on a coffee date, and they're like, "What do you mean a coffee date?" I was like, "Well, let's just go out in the morning. We'll get coffee. You could meet me there. I'll meet you there. And the worst case scenario, after an hour of talking or whatever, how long we talk, you can leave whenever you want. Not
There
that
you
big of
go.
a deal."
Not a big deal. That's why it's easy. Just simply say, hey, you're shopping. I know you're busy right now, so I'm not going to try to hold you up or anything like that. But maybe later on we can catch up and get some coffee sometime.
Yeah.
Let me take your number real fast. And I'll hit you up when you're not busy. And that's
Yeah.
it. And then either they're going to say yes or they're going to say no. But you just keep it very casual and say, but they'll let them know you're not trying to do it right now. So it takes the pressure off of them where you're like saying, hey, I know you're busy right now. I know you got to leave. So I'll make it real quick. Maybe sometime we can catch up, get some coffee.
Be fair. What about men? We, as a rule, like to do the chasing and everything. But if a woman comes up to you, are you gonna be turned off by her if she's too strong or too aggressive in the initial approach or anything?
I think it depends on how she's coming at you, though. If she's asking you for a cup of coffee, and you like the way she looks, and I say, hey, there's nothing wrong with that. We live in a world now where I think it's okay for women to chase, uh, but I think men should also chase. I don't think they should depend primarily on what they do. I don't think it's an
Mhm.
issue. I think it just depends on how strong they're coming at you. When they're making that move, are they coming at you like, the girl in the club that nobody wants to talk to? Is she coming at you strong like that? Or is she coming at you, respectfully? Hey, you know, Mr. Rose or whoever, hey, I like the way you look. You think maybe you'd want to go out and get some coffee sometime? And then, yeah, the ball's in your court at that point.
So one of my friends was saying, we're in a different time. Like you're saying, the coffee bars. I mean, we got juice bars. So Maze was saying that he asked his wife out to go to juice and stuff. And you do have so many options nowadays. Not like the traditional, like, hey, do you want to go on a date? But you can say, hey, you want to go to Jamba Juice or that stupid thing with the little bowls. What are those that everybody calls?
Poke
Oh,
bowls?
boba.
Boba, yeah. Like you
Oh,
can,
boba.
those are good opening things, like, hey, would you like to go get boba? Because I heard somebody say that one time, and I was like, you're not gonna say yes to that. And they're like, oh yeah, I like boba and stuff. So there are a lot of options where you don't have to necessarily go for that first big major date, but you can say, you want to go to Jamba Juice, you want to go to boba or something like that, and that's a good opening. I think that's actually really good and stuff.
Yes, we see your comments. We saw it. Alicia, you said you like Farren's approach to how he goes up to women that he sees in the mall. We also have somebody that said they don't like going to coffee, so they'd rather go to Jamba Juice, which,
That
look,
was
I
one
don't
of my
drink coffee. I don't drink coffee, so I would actually prefer Jamba Juice. I'm not that big of a drinker either. So going out to bars is not the funnest for me on the first date, but I know a lot of people like to do it, and it does create an atmosphere where you can talk and you can get to know the person. But if your conversation and you're not good at conversations, then you might not want to go to a bar. You might want to go to something that has a physical activity involved, like mini golfing or go-kart racing or something. Because if you're just hoping that your conversation is going to be strong enough to get a second date, you might need to know your weaknesses and strengths on that one. Which
Well,
go ahead, Farren.
I was going to say, if that's how you feel, I mean, I think you should maybe go to a place that gives you opportunities to create conversation, like the Punch Bowl. You can go there, you can socialize. There's
But
games, there's little things that you can compete in. There's a little bowling alley there as well. There's little things that you can do to.
Like Dave and Buster's, is that what that's like?
It's kind of like that, but it's more of an adult version of it.
Mm.
But it's a cool little spot, and it'll give you more things to talk about. When you're in the motion of actually doing things.
Okay, so this is my last thing, and we got to wrap it up because we've been on here too long, and I'm losing it. So
Wait,
traditionally,
hold on. What do you mean you're losing it?
I'm losing interest.
Is your back hurting? Is your back hurting a little bit? Because I see it kind of.
Just a little bit.
I see the way you're leaning a little bit.
So you see, when you go out on dates, women always go, "Oh, I don't want to eat. I'll take a salad." To me, I'd rather take you to someplace like Tony's Rack of Ribs someplace. Let's get it over with. Let's get this cute little thing about you just eating a little salad. Let's break it down and see what you want to eat, and let's not have to be like, oh no, I just don't want that little bite and stuff. Come on, let's eat. Let's go and be what we're gonna be. If we're gonna eat right, let's eat right. I don't need to see you be all like, oh no, I'll have soup. I'll have some of yours. First of all,
Okay,
don't eat.
so since you're on that, you bring me to another topic. Give me a deal breaker then. Since we're talking about that, you're on a date. What's something that you'd be like, oh, it's done, it's over?
B, go for that.
What's a deal breaker?
Yeah.
Well, first, how are you doing on time, Farren? Are you good?
I'm solid. I just have a dog here that's just demanding my attention. Other than that, I'm solid.
Okay, so what's a deal breaker for you? You're
A
on a
deal
date.
breaker.
Yeah, you're on a date. What's something you're like, yeah, let's cut this short and go home. I'm done.
Um, I think if they pull something out of their purse and it has to do with either one of these two things, I'm not attracted to that, and it's just not my cup of tea personally. So that'd be my deal breaker.
Hmm.
I think
Okay.
that too, for sure. That
I also think on a date, if they keep talking about their exes the whole time, to me that would indicate that they may not be over the person. So why are you
Yeah.
on a date right now if you're going to keep talking about your ex the whole time? I think that'll probably be a deal breaker. Alicia says belching at the table would be a deal breaker. But
I
what
know.
if they're like
Oh,
drinking a bunch of soda and they're
Mhm.
like, oof, and it comes out and they couldn't help it? Is that you never want to see the person again because that soda
yeah.
got to them?
But belching, not just belching, but passing gas and stuff like that. Just bad. I think bad manners, bad hygiene, all of that in would be inclusive to me. Those would be kind of things that would be like, you know,
So we need you to specify because Jenny's asking pull what out of their purse. So can you
Jenny wants to know
yeah,
exactly
she
what are we
needs you to
talking about.
say not any like she doesn't need you to do any hand gestures. She needs you to be specific and say exactly what you mean out of the purse.
Um, I'll call them cancer sticks.
Okay.
Any sort of form of smoking is not my cup of tea.
Yeah,
Everyone's that pretty smile that I like.
Yeah, that's
right.
true. Now, what if somebody came, you're on a date, it's a date that you've been hooked up with, you've never met the person in person, but the pictures they're absolutely beautiful. They sit down at the table and their teeth are like all over the place. Is that a deal breaker? Or are you sitting there thinking I can pay for braces? Talk to me. Or are you staying on the date? They're pretty, conversations are great, but their teeth like they've been chewing on bricks.
Ooh, that's pretty tough.
They said check, please.
Yeah, that is. I'll just say this: if you're willing to go out on a date with teeth that look like that, I get to think of two things. One, you're you're proud of who you are and who you represent, and I give you credit for that. Or you don't care what you look like, and you just want to go out because you want to have a good time. That can be taken two different ways. So I think in that situation, if I'd say find out about the person, find out what's going on. Maybe it's
But
going to lead into a second date to find out what's going on more so, and then maybe they'll talk about their teeth. But that's not something you bring up the very first date. If it's someone that you're interested in and you want more, possibly, you're curious to learn more about them, maybe go on a second date. And maybe that person will tell you, oh, yeah, by the way, I had an accident, about 2 months ago where my teeth got destroyed in this bad accident. And, I'm still waiting to get my teeth done. It could be just something simple like that. You never know.
Now, would you be willing to pay for them to get braces? If they said no, I don't want to get braces, I can't afford them. Are you thinking in your mind, dang, I might have to buy these braces if we're gonna keep dating? or that
I mean,
you
at
just
what stage are you talking about? Like, you're not gonna buy somebody braces if you're
no, but if he's
if
thinking about
you're
it being long term, but he's thinking he can't be with her because her teeth are jacked up, you're gonna have
Well,
to. But she doesn't want to fix them.
well, I'll just say this: I just spent $700 on my front teeth from jacking them up just 2 months ago. So that's only for two teeth. So I'm paying for a whole mouth. I'm looking at 2 3 grand. I don't
Are
know
you
if I want to pull that out of my pocket yet.
You know what I was thinking though?
did you see what Monte said? Monte, call me when you get them done.
No, I didn't see that. Okay, so
Deal
look,
breaker.
I need to know, Rick, what about you? What are you doing? You're at the table.
Well, okay, so wait, I want to go back to what Brandon said. There's a difference in a physical thing that you said, oh, they come out and they're feeling good about themselves and everything, and they may be coming out just their teeth may be crooked or something. That's different than a dress or a hair thing, something that they have control over, because they may have come out looking like warp shebang with clothes on and a wig that's crooked or something like that, and they may be feeling good about themselves. That's different than a physical thing that they just cannot necessarily help right now. So you can still you have to kind of put them in different levels, because you can't always do things about a physical thing immediately, but your appearance just overall, like say if you just
Okay,
came out
okay.
looking like
You're giving us this long. Are you doing it or not? That's all I want to know.
um
What are you doing? You're sitting at the table and these teeth is throwing up gang signs. What are you doing? What are you doing? You're giving us this, beautiful like speech about how no, tell me what you're doing. You're sitting at the table.
I really think it's why are we ignoring the fact that they deceived me? What they said, I don't know. I think that I might be able to look past them, past the teeth, because I think that those are things that you don't always have control over so much, like I mean, it's different if they're like missing 85 teeth, and like I don't know, because I've
You can
seen
get
some commercials.
veneers, you can get braces. What do you mean? You
You
can
don't
control
always
that.
have the money for that, and so I think it also depends on, like, if their teeth are yellow and their breath is bad. There's a whole other part of that too. Like, if their breath is bad, that's a deal breaker for me generally on the rule. Like, because and not just their breath, there's body odor too that is going to turn me off, because again, like the smells with the perfume, I love nice smelling things. I also don't like
See,
bad
now
smelling
we're
things.
opening up a whole can of worms because now I'm thinking
Hmm.
about like what happens if you get there and they got like hair in their armpits. I mean, all these things I've seen before. But look, you know what I was realizing is we have three male perspectives. We need to get somebody on that can give us a woman's perspective. I don't know if we'll find anybody
We got
tonight,
we
but I'm
got
just saying in
Jenny.
general.
Jenny's
Yeah,
on.
but we need
Alicia's
somebody,
on.
but we need that other perspective that can tell us like where we're messing up at, or what they would think. Because sometimes how we feel going into scenario, they may not care if a guy's teeth are jacked up, or maybe they do care if the guy's teeth are
Okay,
jacked up. We
ladies,
do need.
what do y'all think? What do would,
Maybe we're
if
all
somebody
wrong.
has messed up teeth and everything? Do y'all continue to go out with them, or what do you think? Are teeth a deal breaker? Are y'all saying mostly about teeth, but what about other things? Like I
Well,
know.
the scenario that I used is because other things is too broad because anybody can say yeah, no on other things, but just in this specific scenario, are jacked up teeth, is that a deal breaker?
Your sister's on, Brandon, and she was like, "Oh hell no." Jenny's like, polite exit. Both of the ladies are like, polite exit.
I think teeth, for whatever reason, are a big deal because it says, like Farren said earlier today, it shows that smile when you see them come up shows a lot, and that's one of the first things you see is a smile. One of the second things you also experience is the body odor, and if they don't smell good, then that could cut the date short immediately. Because I can't sit at the table if I've realized you haven't put
How do you
deodorant
get
on.
out of that though?
You text your friend and say, "Call me for an emergency."
This is that
And like I'm
911
texting you, like
situation.
I'll say I'll pick up my phone and say, "Oh, for some reason my mom's calling me right now. Let me see what she wants." But as I'm picking up the phone, I'm texting Farren, "Hey, I need you to call me in exactly 3 minutes." and act like an emergency is going on. And even if I put you on speaker, I need you to act like an emergency so I can just prove. And I get that phone call. What up, B? I am on my way right now.
I'll tell you out.
Give me a second. But then do you pay when you leave? You pay for everybody, or you just leave the money for yourself? What do you do, Rick?
Wow. I don't know. That one's hard.
You gotta keep saying you don't know. I need an answer.
Because if you've invited them out,
What are you doing, Rick?
you got to pay for them if you invited them. I mean, like
you're leaving, you walk up there, the teeth are busted, bad body odor, and it's not what you expected. Are you paying for the meal and then leaving? Or are you just giving your portion? Or are you going to stay throughout the whole thing? What are you doing?
B, what are you doing? We'll go to you first.
Two words. Check, please, and you're out.
Are you paying?
I invited, so yeah. I mean, I'll take the loss.
Oh, okay.
I'll take the loss. I'll wash my hands.
Rick,
Rose,
what are you doing?
I'd say probably take the loss.
I explained what I was doing. I told you I did the entire scenario where I'm calling Brandon on the phone, acting like an emergency happens so I can get out of there.
Do you pay?
Where are we at? How much is the bill at this point? Are we at? Is it like $120 bill?
I think the better question is how long are you trying to stay? How much longer are you trying to be there? You want out? Check, please. Get out.
Yeah.
Check your losses. Look your wins.
Yeah, it's because the.
Okay, so this happened before the food and everything. You've decided that you're not interested. Do you cancel that date at that point? Are you making an emergency exit, or do you cancel and like, you know what, I don't think that this is going to work out?
You just ghost.
Would you say that?
You leave and you just never say another word.
Okay, ladies, what about you guys? Would y'all cancel the date at the point or make an excuse?
It's too rude to tell somebody in person, hey, I don't think this is going to work. I don't ever want to see you again. I don't think that's necessary. Some people are upfront and they do that and they like honesty, but
it's a little harsh.
That's kind of harsh. Just go home and don't ever talk to them again.
I think a good way is just go to the bathroom. Hey, I got to go use the bathroom real quick, and make your phone calls and then phone a friend, whatever you got to do at that point to get a second opinion.
So Brittany's saying we never talked about how you end a first date. Now that is open-ended, and Lord knows I hope we stay. Don't go too crazy with this. I'm gonna let Farren go first on this because I'm scared with Ricky's answer. Well, because you got to be scared with how Ricky's gonna talk about ending the first date. So
no, you know what? To me, that's the hardest thing for me, actually, the ending the first date. Even more so than going on the first date is ending, because
there's two scenarios.
If
it's good, you have to end it one way, and if it's bad, you have to end it another way.
Oh,
yeah, but in my mind, I don't know which way it is.
You both, huh?
I don't know which way it is. So I'm
thinking, if it's a good first date, like we talked about, when you get to the house, you get out of the car, you walk them up to the front door. Okay. If anybody's seen Hitch, then you know what I'm talking about when you get to that front door. Now, if it's a bad first date, you drop them off and then you just say, thanks for coming out tonight. It was nice seeing you and getting to know you, and we'll talk later. And then she gets out the car. You get out the car, open the door, and make sure she gets the door safe. And that's it.
So Jenny says, Rodney knows I would tell them if we're never seeing each other again. Jenny would. She would be there like, you know what, this is not gonna work.
And then look, there's no guessing after that. You know where she stands, because ghosting sucks too. You also don't want to be on that end where you're like, man, does she like it? Is she gonna talk to me again? So being up front, but you can also do that in a simple text, as opposed to just looking at them in the eye and be like, this ain't gonna work. I'm not having fun with you right now. Just send a text, when they text you, hey, I had so much fun with you the other day, let's hang out again sometime. Then you could simply say, I had fun, but I think I'd rather us be friends.
Yeah.
Then what do you say? What do you say after that?
So B Rose, the date's gone really well. Do you try to seal it with the kids? Because that's always a hard thing.
See, that's a question that you can't answer without knowing the chemistry that's been developed, because you could be on the date and you'll know, because if you're on the date and you guys are just talking and it's just casual, then and she's treating you casual, then you know you're not going to attempt to kiss, because usually the guys have to go first, right? But if you're at the end of the night where you guys know this date's over and you're getting ready to go inside, I mean, there's telltale signs. If you guys are looking at each other and you guys are looking at each other's lips, Alicia, close your ears. And and you guys are looking at each other, you can get like signals, and then if you're looking down and you keep looking at the lips and you start biting your lip a little, okay, obviously the signs are there. So if you went for it and she didn't kiss you back, then you'd be like, okay, well, I definitely was thrown off by this for sure. But yeah, I think but do you have to? I mean, I don't think you even have to on the first date. You just play it by ear. Don't rush it. Don't force it to happen. If the chemistry is not perfect for that opportunity, don't force it to happen.
But if it doesn't happen and you feel like there's chemistry there, are you still enticed enough to go ask her out again? Or
yes, even more so.
Okay.
Even more so. If you don't kiss for the first time, you definitely want to go on another date, because you're like, I want to go on another date because maybe this time we can kiss. If you get to kiss the first night, then we're getting off topic. So anyway, next question, Rick.
I know guys actually that have said that, that they didn't get any kind of they didn't go in for a kiss or something like that, and they didn't know how they were going to react if they wanted to go out again. Like, and I'm like that. It's like, if there was chemistry all along, and y'all, why not want to go out? Because it's anticipation of what's to come and stuff, like that. But girls will tell you in a minute, they can tell if they want to kiss you like in the first 15 minutes of the date, like even less, so they'll know. It's hard for me because I never know to take that step, or I really honestly wish the girls would just say, it's okay, kiss me. I would be okay with that.
Sometimes women make the first move. How do you feel about that? How do you guys feel about that?
I'm all for it.
Does it turn you off, or are you all for it if she makes the first move? Because this is the thing, guys like to feel special, and they feel like if she's doing this with me, she's doing this with other people. So
wait, hold on. Before we get into this, Alicia Rose said, "What would you do if you were on a date and their teeth fell on the table?"
Like they had dentures?
Yes.
I would ask how old they are.
Yeah, well, we're getting to a point where that might be a possibility at this point, because we're getting old now. So that's a possibility.
Yeah.
I would, me, my laugh, I would try to not embarrass them, but I would probably be on the floor laughing to me. And that would be one of those things, not to embarrass them, but just to be like, it's okay. It's a funny thing that happens, like it happens, that would be my thought, that I would laugh like that. But I would be like, oh, wow. Can you secure it? You need to poly grip them in ahead of time. But, I would be on the floor.
And you'll be finding a ride home that night too, Ricky.
What was your question, Brandon? I'm sorry.
Yeah, we got off topic.
I don't.
Pet peeves.
We did it. So we did a little segment earlier today. It actually hasn't even aired yet. So how we kind of break down a little bit, B, is we film a couple shows off air, and then we put them on YouTube later on, and then we just freelance a show later on, which is what you're a part of right now. And this makes a live stream. And then this video is so long now, I don't even know if I'm gonna edit at this point. I might just throw it out there raw at this point, because it's just, I don't even know if it'll let me edit it because it's just so long. But so in that first video that nobody has seen yet, we talk about what our pet peeves are. You might as well ask Brandon while he's here what his pet peeves are. But we talked about what our pet peeves are, and then as we're talking about that, we kept, like, that was our running joke. We kept kind of going back to it throughout the night. So this is perfect. We're kind of talking about dating, but kind of get off that just a little bit, because we spent a long time on that. Ask him what you asked me about earlier for pet peeves.
What are your pet peeves? Just in general. They don't have to be about dating or women, just some pet peeves, period. Like, because I have like just normal ones, and he, of course, he says he doesn't have any, but he does, and those are pet peeves.
I have one that comes to mind, and it. Am I still there?
Yes, you're here.
Okay.
He does
He popped.
something.
He disappeared. Okay. I have one that comes to mind. And one of my pet peeves is, having to repeat myself. If I'm saying something or explaining something or we discuss something and it was very clear that we were maybe going to do something about it or plan something, and then if we talk about it maybe later on in the day or a week later, whatever the case may be, and we have is as if I never talked to you about it, that can be a little frustrating, especially if we were like planning something like, wait, we never talked about this. Like, actually we did. We talked about this a couple hours ago. You don't remember us having this conversation? Oh yeah, yeah, I think I do now. So I don't mind talking about things, or even if people forget things, I don't doesn't bother me to remind them. But when it's a constant thing where I have to constantly like, hey, I have to constantly repeat myself over certain things, that can get a little frustrating sometimes.
That
And
was one.
that comes
That was one
from
of his too.
what was that?
That was one of his too. Sorry.
Oh, no, especially from being a teacher at one point. Like I used to train people, and I would tell them like, hey, this is why we do things, and if you don't understand it, ask me a question. Okay, you don't ask me a question, all right? Well, I'll tell you again, but this time I'm requesting that you write notes on how to do it. And if you do, great. So this won't be a topic anymore. But if you come to me a third time and you're asking me, hey, how do we do this? Okay, now we have a problem because I'm constantly repeating myself. So I feel like I'm either wasting my time, you don't respect what I'm saying, or you just don't care. And I don't want to think that by having to constantly repeat myself. So that's where the pet peeve starts to kick in.
Yeah, I
Because my
think.
time's valuable, your time's valuable, all our time's valuable. Why would we want to waste our time talking to somebody about something if they don't really care?
Yeah. Some of the pet peeves that people have said were loud chewers. That, yeah, that is something right there to me. I just, is that a Hawaiian punch?
Yeah,
Did
and I
you
hate Hawaiian Punch. Is anybody like this?
wait?
I
You
do
hate
not. I
Hawaiian
can't
punch?
stand.
Did you drink them all?
Huh?
Are there any more
There's
Hawaiian punches?
one. You told me to save you one, so I saved you one.
If you
But I
don't need
can't.
it, I'll take it.
Do you
I'll
like
take
Hawaiian
a,
Punch?
I'll take a
I
Hawaiian
like
punch. I haven't had one since I was like 15.
Yeah, that's. I just.
one of my pet peeves are people who complain about things and then eat them all or drink them all.
Ah,
Well, when that's all you
Um,
got.
Jenny said loud chewers. That is one of us in this group used to be a very loud slurper of top ramen.
ah,
That's me. That's me, and
Uh,
I'll admit it. And the thing is that you're not
when
a man
he
of.
was a
You're not a man.
kid,
Hold on. You're not a man of tradition, and tradition is in Japan. When you're eating ramen, no, hold on. I know what you're gonna say. We're not in Japan, but in Japan, when you're eating ramen and the ramen is really good, in order to pay respect to the chef, you slurp up the noodles to show them that you're really enjoying it. So go ahead, keep going.
you've been to Japan one time, and that was last year. What about all the other 36 years that you were at the table?
I was I was gonna add something to that too. I was gonna say, we met at 15 years old, and he was slurping away eating noodles,
Man,
eating
man,
Thai
he didn't
food.
know nothing about no
Oh
tradition.
man, I'll jack some Thai food up.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'll jack some Thai food up.
yeah, he
I
was
know.
slurping there
The
too.
loud chewers are those kind of things. Table manners. I'm big on table manners and things like
Mhm.
that. You just can't be eating any kind of way. I even look at people sometimes like that I'm not involved with or anything, but they'll be at the table and the way they cut their food and stuff. I'm like, some people look like barbarians. And so I'm really big on table manners. And Alicia said, putting things back. Maze says ugly hands. Wow. What about feet? Now, I didn't know I was really into people's having ugly feet, and that's not so much of a pet peeve, but I do kind of look at them. I'm like, oh,
People gotta have
that's
the feet. Gotta be nice. That's
That's
gotta
his
be
number
nice.
one pet peeve right there.
They gotta
what
be nice.
about toenail polish?
I prefer, but the overall foot is more important.
Because I think those are very sexy too. But I have a lot of pet peeves, but those are things that I just don't like. Those are not the same as pet peeves, but I don't want to be getting on people stuff, then they'll be yelling at me.
That is a good one, Jenny. That is a really good one. You want to read it out, Rick?
Yes, when you pay for a service and they do a bad job. Oh, we've had a
Contractors, contractors.
air conditioner people.
I think you hit a
Yeah,
sense of though right there.
Yeah,
but I
and
do think
in
that
these heat waves, my AC went out a few weeks ago. And I told people this that were watching the last live. My AC went out a few weeks ago and cost me thousands of dollars to get that back up and running. And when it was 100 and how much did you say it was today?
it was like
It was
120. I don't
117.
know. Was it really? Because my car was registering that. I thought it was crazy.
Now I was outside in the heat today working 117 degrees. I think I lost 10 pounds.
Wow,
Wait,
see.
wait. Time out. Why were you outside working in the heat in the first place?
111.
I had to clock in for work, duty calls.
Oh, I thought you were doing like chores at home or something.
Oh, no. I'm not,
Okay.
I'm dumb, but I'm not that dumb.
Okay.
Alicia said it was 111 today. I honestly, it felt like it was so hot when I got out. The heat wave just slapped me in my face. I really felt like somebody, I was looking around to see who had done it because it was so bad. And I don't like heat at all. So yeah, it was hot. But I do agree with you. People complain about not having money but don't want to work. Yeah, that's true.
Ricky.
That's a bad thing. I work. I just don't.
Did I say that out loud?
Yeah, you did.
Ricky. That's Ricky. Who said that? Thank you.
Yeah,
Who
Brittany
was
said that.
Brittany said that? Let me like that.
Yeah.
'Cause I appreciate
I know.
that.
I complain about not having money, but I don't want to be doing extra stuff. Sometimes people want you to do stuff, and you're like, no, that's not me. I'm not going to do certain things. Just not. See, he thinks that money is just going to be like, if they offered you all this money to do this. No, I've told him 1,000 times. We were going to go try to play Amazing Race. We were going to try to go on that, and so we looked at the previous season to see what they did and stuff. There are certain things. I don't care how much money you offer me. I'm not going to eat bugs that look like bugs and things like that. I'm not going
If millions
I'm
of
not
dollars were on
going
the
to
line,
be
I'll
put
open your
in.
mouth and throw the bugs in your mouth if you're not going to
I'm
eat
not
them.
going to be put into a bed, a box full of rats or snakes. You don't have enough money. Don't you save
I'll be
yourself
the
your
snake.
breath because I'm not going to do it. That's just
If there was enough money on the line, you would do it.
no. I'm not.
There's just nobody to write you a check for $50 million to sit in a box of rats for you to even know if you do it or not. But you would do it knowing how much your life would change after $50 million.
How
Your
much therapy
family
I
would
would be in?
disown you if you didn't come back with $50
How
million.
much
I don't
therapy I
care if
would be in?
I don't care if you got hit with the gas that Scarecrow does in Batman Begins. You were tortured for the rest of your life. You better bring that money back home.
That's right.
People who think they can sing but clearly cannot. Okay. Let me tell you all this rat story. This is somebody asked me about the rat story that we were talking about this earlier.
What rat story?
So we live 70 miles apart.
Oh,
Bless you.
Lord.
Thank you.
So B Rose called me one time. I think hadn't I just left your house? I don't even remember the whole scenario.
No, you were gone. You had been gone for a few days.
A few days. I feel like I left and came back.
You had been gone
He
for
called me and said he's hearing a noise in his pantry. I'm like, well, what is it and stuff? He's like, I don't know, but I think it's a rat. You think it's a rat and stuff? I'm like, well, what? Go hit it with a broom or do something like that. He's like, I can't find it. Every time I go into there, I hear the noise and stuff, and it's really like scaring me. Can you come and get the rat? First of all, I don't know why you call me to come get the rat, but because I'm not gonna be much help to get the rat. I'm not. But with my dumb self, I come driving back 70 miles. I stopped at the place to get some rat traps before I got there. I wasn't that stupid, but I came in the house with the rat traps just in case, and he was like, go in there and look. I'm sorry. I came as backup for you in case something happened when you're not. And he was sitting on his counter already, like afraid to get the rats. He's sitting on the counter, the bar counter, like go in there and look in the pantry and get the rat. No, you either get a bat and knock that rat in his head, and then I'll help you guide you out of the house with the rat because I'm not picking that up either. But I'm here for you, but I'm not going to be here for you. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So we go into the closet and find out in the closet he has this glass that it had what was it? It was a little alcohol bottle, and it was fizzing.
It
So
was
you
just,
heard,
yeah, because the heat, it had like expanded and it opened up a little bit, but that little whizzing, it didn't have a consistent hiss. So it would go and it would stop for like 20 seconds. So like I'd hear the hiss. I was like, oh shoot, there's something in there. And then I'd walk in the pantry and it would stop. I'm like, oh shoot, the rat sees me. So it's stopping hissing. So then I'm scared now. So I'm backing out because I'm like, this thing could be like in attack mode. That's why it's not hissing no more. It's like getting ready to pounce on me. So I backed up. But the thing is I can't sleep in the house knowing that this rat's here and I haven't caught it. So I'm thinking to myself, I got work. So what am I going to do? I got to get some type of sleep tonight. So I was like, if at the very least I can go to sleep, but I can have Ricky on patrol.
like,
making sure
I would
this
been
rat
right
doesn't
at
get
your
to me
door with you.
if we can't find it. But then at the other time, like the thing is, I need somebody at least there to tell the story. So if I'm going to grab this rat and it attacks me, it's not going to be any fun if at least I got Ricky there to help me if I'm getting attacked. It's like I need some type of backup. I'm not trying to go in there. The thing is, I didn't know where it was at. Well, it wasn't a rat, but I didn't know where this noise was coming from. I needed help.
When I found that thing hissing, I was like, I drove 70 miles out here, stopped to get rat traps and everything.
Well, then no more than about 2 months ago, I come home and I'm walking inside the house, and by my sliding glass door, there's this tiny lizard, and it almost knocked me out of my shoes. I was like, what the heck is this thing over? I think I was actually video chatting you, wasn't I? And I'm like, I looked at Rick, I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do, because if this thing gets away from me right now, I'm not gonna be able to rest for the rest of the time living in this house. I need to find this little rat. This thing was tiny too.
It was inside the house?
It was inside my house
it
by
was a
my
little
tape.
lizard.
I have no clue I got in. I haven't seen a rat since.
It was a lizard,
It was
not
a
a
lizard,
rat.
not a rat. It was a little lizard, and it was sitting by the table. But it was like, you know how they like suck in the air and they like get that defensive posture. It was doing that, looking at me. I was like, shoot, this thing sees me. And I see it. So
Popping out 50 push-ups.
I had one chance. I had one chance to get it before it got me or got away. Because if it got away, I'd have never seen that thing again. And it just,
He probably would have moved, which is I am totally not mad at somebody if they said that they had an animal in their house or something like that, a rat or something, and they said that they were going to move. I would be like, okay, what are you getting out? Because that would be my thought. Like, what can I grab initially on my way out? Because if the rat's in there, then they own the house at that point. Can I grab something on my way out?
I'm done.
Because I'm leaving for sure. I don't have a problem with somebody.
Well, then you're so scared of rats. Why did you come out to help me?
Because I don't have good sense. I always do stuff. You always call me for stupid stuff. Like, oh, let's paint the garage. Who the heck wants to paint a garage?
Please don't even start with that dang garage. And I should have known too.
The invite. I wonder why.
Because you and I've painted a room before in the past too. That's the first time I ever even painted. So
it wasn't a good color either.
I was looking at Rick and I said, Rick, I want to paint this garage. Let's paint it blue. And Rick's like, I'm letting you know I can't paint good. I should have listened to him. I should have listened to him because you actually were there. You helped me. We went down to Home Depot and we picked up the storage stuff.
Yeah.
And I told Rick, I said, all I need you to do, this is always how it happens. I just need you to do this one thing, Rick. So that way when I get back, it makes my job easier. But I always have to go back and do his work all over again. So we left.
Why ask me?
And
That's
I
why I'm
said,
saying, why ask me?
well, because who can't tape? I said, all I need you to do is tape the edges around this garage so we don't accidentally paint over it. We came back. Did you remember seeing the tape, Brandon?
I remember.
The tape was all over the place. It was every place but the spot we needed it. And I looked at Rick, I said, how is this going to stop us from painting over this wall? I literally had to take it all down. I just was going over there, pulling all the tape down, and I had to redo everything.
Maybe he wanted to make authentic designs for you.
he was trying to come up with
and
something.
Then he asked me painting, so I'm painting. He's like, "Oh, it's not this way; it's this way." So wait, I'm doing all this stuff, and then you gonna come and go do it again?
But
Why
then
am I
he
doing
left.
this?
You left to go do some hair, and you just somehow stay gone all day long. And when you got back, you're good at that
auntie's
too.
House.
You're good at that because by the time you got back, the garage was done. I had finished painting everything.
Hate when that happens.
Okay. You had not finished painting everything. You had finished painting your section, and then we went back over and went to the
I
next.
did your section.
You were not finished when I came.
I did your section. It was the first day we did it, and you did your part, which didn't do anything because I had to go over your part again. And then the next day is when I started early in the morning. I finished my part, and then I looked at your part, and I had to do your part. And you were gone for the entire day. You came back later that night.
Hair to do. I was only gone like 4 or 5 hours, and that takes me that while.
Lost your mind if you think you were only gone for 4 or 5 hours that day. You were gone for at least 8 to 10 hours. You were gone all day.
No way.
See this dude.
No way.
He always does that, and you don't have to do. Luckily, I got cameras.
We have to go. Thank you guys for being on our show for tonight, and we've been here 2 hours and 3 minutes. This is not a podcast. This is like a mini series. Thank you guys. Thank you, Jenny, Alicia, Brittany, Maze, Julie, and everybody who listened. Who else was here?
Are you doing this like an award show? You're giving out things or something?
Shout out to everyone.
People. Shout out to everyone who came and listened and stayed. Melissa, Arnold, and everything. If you came and listened and here, we appreciate you. We're leaving. We are who?
No, stop always going to me for that. You say it.
No. I did it a few minutes ago after he did it, and he had a fit. Who
are you
sending
guys?
us out?
You say it. Look, first, let's thank Brandon for coming on today.
Thank you. I forgot all about you.
He was
I'm just being a good listener.
Guest appearance out of nowhere. He came, gave us solid dating advice. We're gonna have to have you back on again. So we thank you for coming on and sharing us.
Happy to be here.
Maze, thank you, Brandon. We do appreciate it. Maze, before we go, I was trying to give you a shout out too for your podcast. What is it?
Yes,
so Maze has a podcast too.
We're gonna have to at some point. We're gonna have to bring Farren back to do some other stuff, not just dating. He's got good insights on a lot of other different topics. We actually at one point we're doing a YouTube channel ourselves many moons ago. So that's where we first started out. We were Brandon and Brandon Co. We still have some old videos up online of that too. So
he probably is waiting on editing to do that because that's what he does. Just so we know, we have a YouTube channel as well that we started 4 years ago, and we have 2 videos up, and he's got one in the closet. But anyway, Marte's gonna be starting a new one by himself. Okay, well, let us know when you do. So, thank you guys. We're the Blithering Roses, and what should they do?
That was so No, this is you. This is you.
Okay.
Get it. Let's get some energy.
We're the Blithering Roses, and we are out of here.